Destiny 2 could have been infinite, Witcher 3 gets an expansion for the first time in a decade, and another Call of Duty has been announced, as expected. Welcome to this week's Nerd Roundup, hosted by the Nerd Factory. I'm Jake. Let's catch you up. After last week's confirmation of Destiny 2's final update on June 9th, there have since been reports and conversation within Bungie during the decision-making process. According to Paul Tassi, it was reportedly discussed within Bungie that a relaunch of Destiny 2 under the title Destiny Infinity that could have given the franchise a fresh start. The idea was to relaunch the game under the new name and move back to one major yearly expansion rather than building Destiny 3, which apparently was discussed but not followed because of the cost it would take to make the game. This obviously would have given Bungie the ability to rebuild the game rather than starting from scratch. But obviously they decided that that was not where they were going to go to, as they decided that the final update is coming and that's it. Although over 300,000 people have now signed the Develop Destiny 3 petition trying to show Bungie and Sony, hey, this game still has a community. And I honestly think after looking at all the updates that are coming in this final update, they should have done a relaunch. These changes, I think, are going to hit really well. And a lot of them have been stuff that people have been asking for years for. And they're bringing it back when the game's dead. Which is typical Bungie. That's typical Destiny updates. Every time the game sucks, they do an update and it's like, oh, okay. Every time, without fail. And they're doing it again. I'm just in the boat of the only other thing they need to do is add in the stuff from the DCV, the Destiny Content Vault, and slowly add that into the game so the game is in a full condition, and that's it. And then leave it as is if they're not going to continue it. Because there's like half the story that doesn't exist in the game. And new players are coming in and I'm pretty sure they join in and they start at Witch Queen or Beyond Light, one or the other. And there's like 3 years worth of story that is gone. So I hope they bring that back over time. And they don't just leave it as this update and that's it. I hope. For the first time in over a decade, Witcher 3 is getting another expansion. Named Songs of the Past, you'll be following Geralt of Rivia once again on an adventure when it comes out in 2027. It will be available on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. The expansion is going to be as big as Blood and Wine, the last expansion that came out in 2016, and confirmation of more Gwent stuff for you Gwent fans. They didn't go into depth of what is being added in Gwent, but there's going to be more Gwent. And that's it. That's kind of all we know. They didn't really give us a lot. In a Q&A session that they did do with the devs, they did say that Geralt does have a third sword, which apparently is extremely important to the story, and that you'll find out when you play it. They're literally gonna not mention it other than that time, it seems like. Other than that, you can find out more at Gamescom, which is happening on the 26th and the 30th of August this year. It's that time of year again. The next Call of Duty has been announced. It's been titled Modern Warfare 4 and releases on October 23rd, 2026 for PS5, Xbox Series X and X, PC, and Switch 2, which I wasn't expecting. So yeah, we're getting a COD game on Nintendo again for the first time in I don't know how long. The game has been developed by Infinity Ward, which recently got a new updated logo and will feature a campaign, multiplayer, which I'll go into more detail in a second, and DMZ, which will have a first look on June 7th. Multiplayer for MW4 has already been confirmed that cosmetics in the game will no longer be completely ridiculous. A statement was put out that said, no Lady Gaga, no Omni-Man, no Teletubbies, no SpongeBob. Keep the receipts. Which is good news for anyone that wants to keep a grounded kind of style for Call of Duty, which has been missing for years. Creator class also now has the ability to select an operator and a unique killstreak set for each individual loadout, which is kind of cool. The game will also include classic perks, all new movement system, slide cancelling and slide to ADS, red dots on the minimap, no bloom, which is an interesting choice, map voting, and no more last gen support, which more games need to do. The game looks good, but is also no longer going to be on Game Pass. This is the first game that you will have to buy outright since they put Call of Duties onto Game Pass. So I personally am going to wait and see if the game's actually good or not, because the last few have been mediocre at best. So I'm going to wait. We're going to hold off and wait. Now you're all caught up. I already think Bungie should have just done the Infinity release, as they called it. I honestly think it would have worked because it would have brought a load of people back if they went, here's all that cool stuff that you wanted for years, and here you go, have it, have fun. And I think it would have just worked, but it is what it is. But as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, as you'll be getting a new Nerd Roundup every Monday at 6 PM UK time. Nearly messed that up. If you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see or anything you'd really like to say, comment down below and I'll try and respond as soon as I can. Other than that, I'll see you next week.